Hello, good morning to the Brea Police Youth Club. Welcome all of you. How are you all going today?
We are great.
Wonderful.
Excellent. Now, I understand that you'll do a lot of very, very good work and that you're gearing up for even greater projects on the horizon. Hopefully, once things get better, you'll be diving full steam ahead into it. Before we go any further though, can I ask each of you to introduce yourselves and the role that you play in this youth club?
My name is Corporal Vespri David. I've been the leader of the Police Youth Club for the past 8 years and a part of the leadership for the last 10 years. So my role there is to lead the youths into becoming well-rounded citizens and giving them opportunities for personal development, for growth, and to prepare them for leadership, not just in their personal lives, in their professional lives, and to make our country and our community a safer and a better place. And, as young people have a lot of inherent gifts and talents within them, and our role is to discover it, to help them unearth it through programs and activities. And it's even much better when we have professionals on board with us. It helps us to stay on the right path and to give them the right direction in which they should go.
I am on the Youth Executive Board, which is, a group of young people like myself around my age who would be more directly involved with the leadership of the club and getting involved how these programs take place and all of that.
Hi, good morning. So my name is Kelsey Brown, and I've been with the club for about 3 years now. I initially came on the youth club band royalty as a panelist. And then over time, as I got to know Ms. Vespri, she decided that I would also be a good fit for the youth executive that Nicola was mentioning.
Right.
So currently I am the youth project coordinator. So I am in charge of projects like this that we're going to talk about today.
My name is Jalan Lewis. I am the youth project president and also the education officer of the Brea Police Youth Club. I was introduced to the club by a friend during one of the Brea Police Youth Club short courses. They were doing electrical installation. So yes, I've been part of the club almost 2 years now.
Excellent. Well, welcome all of you. Welcome all of you. Now, today, I know we're going to speak specifically on the Jetty project. And, if we have some time, y'all could talk about more of the other work that y'all have been doing. But let's dive right into this Jetty project. Tell us about this Jetty, the history behind it. That's the best place to start. Where did this, when did it begin? When was it built? And bring us up to present day. What is going on with the Jetty right now? And I know through speaking with Ms. Vespri David that it is an integral bit of infrastructure in Brea. So give us some background information on the Jetty in Brea and what is your group's role in this Jetty and hopefully the restoration of it.
So so far we've been gathering information on the Jetty, about the history.
Right.
It has proven to be a little challenging given the circumstances, but we did manage to get some information from sources within the community. So there are actually 2 jetties in Brea, and the one that we are focusing on used to transport crude oil.
Mm-hmm.
And when we did a site visit, it was really in a dilapidated state. A lot of the wood was missing,
right.
Things like that. And actually, there also used to be like a barracks. So there was security there that, they would manage the jetty activities, and there was security, and they actually used to sleep over there. But now, all these structures, they are virtually non-existent because, over time, the deterioration. So, well, at that point in time, it was really the oil industry that made the jetty lively. And as a result, you had different ships coming in, There were Norwegians, there were other Europeans that came, and they used to interact with the community. So what you had at that point in time was a very lively, vibrant business community. There were a lot of markets, bars, places like that. And then when the oil industry came to a halt, the jetty was closed. And then at that point is when the fishing really began in the jetty. So, fishermen would come and they would fish and sell their catch at the market.
Right.
So, and that made the jetty lively again. There was that community, that business interaction happening. As of now, though, it's very, I wouldn't say that it's lively anymore. There's not much fishing going on around in that area.
Right.
So it has seen a serious decline, with the fishing industry as well. So all in all, the jetty has deteriorated, but, we hope and we are looking to see if there's potential for it to be restored.
Yes, between the age of the year 1940s or 1950s is where the jetty was operating and functional,
Right. Oh,
more or less.
50s, okay.
And as the years progressed, the industry there shut down, and then the fishing industry picked up there, and fishermen were able to go out there and bank and throw lines and dive.
The jetty, is it still in use right now? And in
It's
a bad shape, or
Yes,
is it not in use? Sorry?
It's in use, and it is in a bad shape.
Both,
It is still in use.
but it's still in use. It can still be used.
The only unsafe thing is the accessibility towards the jetty. Say climbing up on it and the woods. So yeah.
So Ms. Flattery, it's good that I have the floor right now. So anything you want to add following from what Kelsey would have shared?
Yes.
And Jelon?
Yes. As you were asking about the time frame.
Yeah.
We have reached out to the University of the West Indies, to the library services there to assist us with it, which they promised to, because they too were very excited about the project. But again, because of the spike of the COVID and things have been halted a bit. So we did not get all the accurate information that we need at this time. However, from interviewing the senior citizens, some of them who were in their 70s, they could remember being a child, going to school, the Brighton Anglican and Loughborough RSC, and remembering the jetty being up and running as children. But I would say the better part of 40 to 50 years, it started to decline in the last 40 years or so. It started to decline, and then it declined rapidly. When Kelsey mentioned the barracks, we were also informed that BP was the company who manned the jetty. So they had security there, as Kelsey said, in a barracks type settings where they would overnight, because the community was not allowed access to the jetty. That was, the jetty signified money for the company. It was their profits. And as she said, these European ships would come into the dock, come into the waters, and all these pipelines would be funneled to their ships, and they would collect all the crude oil. And while that was going on, the sailors would come out into the community and, intermingle, do business, spend money, drink a beer, whatever, eat some local cuisine. And this was some of the activities that occurred back then. So this is what the community looked like. I guess it would have had a lot of downstream industries coming out of it, in the sense of businesses like your shops, your parlors, people selling local stuff to them. And it was quite a sight to behold. Now, as Gillian indicated, it is in a terrible state. After the company closed it down and they shut it down, we were told they put up a sign that you are not allowed to go out there. You go out there on your own risk. So people now took the opportunity to walk out on the jetty, and they began fishing. People came from near and far, and they still do. But what happened with Loughborough declined, economically declined tremendously. And with the poverty, when business people came to buy fish or to sell fish, the locals, the young ones who were unemployed and who had a tentative to crime, they would rob and steal, and so over time people stopped coming. A lot of business people, they stopped coming to the fishing village there to do that type of business.
Right.
Today what you have is people doing little recreational fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So what has happened, what really sparked this is that a fishing group contacted me through the National Trust.
Right.
And as you indicated, this has a monumental features, and it is registered under the National Trust.
Right.
And so this guy got my number from the National Trust, and they had an interest in restoring the jetty. So they wanted an organization with whom they can work with. And so he reached out to me, and I said, this sounds like a wonderful idea. We at the Police Youth Club a couple of years ago, we went on a field trip to the Institute of Marine Affairs. And since then, we always wanted to do a marine type of project. And so we saw the need the opportunity where we could marry it, use the Jetty project, get the Institute of Marine Affairs, who promised us to bring a scientist will come down and walk the shores with the kids and show them these living organisms that is on the shoreline, and we could put it all together and showcase this jetty about the corals and the fishing and the effect that it can have on the community, if this jetty is restored. And so this is where we are, where the project.
Understood. Now, I want to talk a bit about the environmental benefits of this jetty and the strategic location. But before, I just want to hear from Nicola. Are you someone from Brea? Have you grown up there? And what does the jetty mean for you?
Well, I have lived in Brea my entire life. I was born and raised here, never lived anywhere else. And for me, this jetty has given me the opportunity to really become involved with my community.
Right.
Because even though I was born here and I was raised, I lived my entire life here, I didn't know much about this long history that Brea has.
Yeah.
We had so many businesses, so many things going on. And over the years, like Mr. Sue mentioned, it has slowly declined economically. So I would not have been aware of all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And through projects like this that the Police Youth Club gets involved in, I have the opportunity to learn more about my own community and where we would have come from, and slowly build ourselves back up to that greatness.
Talk to me about the environmental benefits of this jetty.
The jetty actually became, to say, an ecosystem for many little marine organisms. Chips, we have conchs that will stick to the walls and feed off the little algae and things that actually build up on the surface of the jetty.
Right.
We've got big fishes like, for instance, bouchers and granticais that come and live between the pillars of the jetty, and it creates a home, it creates a nursery for plenty fish.
Yeah.
It creates a safe environment, because now they have shelters from the rough currents. We have a lot of help from the jetty that contributes towards the marine life around it.
How do you all see the jetty being, the upkeep of the jetty once it is restored, and so what is the hope once it is restored?
Okay, what I would say, speaking with other stakeholders like a member of the fishing group, it's going to be costly.
Right.
Very costly to do a restoration project, a full restoration project like that. And if so be it, then the investors the people who invest, who would make that type of contribution, would certainly have a lot of say, and people will not invest money and to just watch it go down the drain. So we are of the opinion and the hope that, strategic plans will be put in place for security, longevity, for care of the jetty. The fishing group also mentioned to me a short-term plan, which was initially, he said that there are so many fishing groups and people who love fishing in Trinidad and Tobago. Right. He said, Ms. Vespri, every weekend they be looking for new places to fish. And they discovered La Brea and did their research and realized the benefits and what La Brea has. Right. And so what they wanted to do temporarily as a temporary measure was just to replace the marine ply. There's a marine ply or wood, as we would call it, that is on the jetty, on these iron planks that is in the water. Yeah. And that was removed through theft, and poverty, and the guys went out there and they steal it and they sell it or whatever, they build houses with it, all sorts of things. So initially they wanted to just replace the marine ply so that people could have access, because you could walk down that ply now and go deeper into the water, out into the ocean, and throw your line and sit down on a chair or hang your legs off of the jetty and just enjoy the hot sun fishing. So that is one of the short-term goals, was to do that. I guess that one would have been more economical, because it's a lot of business people, I was informed, that was in that group, and that was their interest, their initial interest. The long-term interest was to restore the entire jetty for economic gain, so that it would have an effect on the community directly. He said people want to eat local food outside of a restaurant. They want to come to a village and taste like a tanty or a granny sweet hand, and that kind of thing. And they're hoping that once a jetty is up and running, then it means that people will come to sightsee, to fishing, to eat and drink, and hope that it could have that kind of effect. Of course, La Brea is a place with a lot of potential.
Well, I think that at the end of the day, the future is the youth. We are going to inherit this world. We are going to inherit the systems put in place. We're going to inherit all these things. Is going to be ours. Yeah. So I, firmly believe that we should be taking a more proactive approach into facilitating something that is better and being able to sustain it. Because yes, we came into this situation as how it is now, a serious decline, not much. But when you take, as you mentioned, when you take a look back at the history and you see, well, wow, look, we were at this point. We have the potential to, it's just, the lack of support. And I think the key thing in this project is youth awareness. Right. Because there may be a lot of young people out there that may not even know about these things and may not even understand the significance that it has and will have in their lives. Right. So if we could get the youth on board and raise awareness and, encourage critical thinking from them, to be more proactive and to take a more, a bigger role in creating, a community that is better for them. Right. We would be able to reach that goal. And it's really just understanding that we are going to inherit it, so we should make it the best that it can be. And we need to start from now. And, we want to hopefully encourage sustainability as well. So we don't want the same thing to be happening where it was thriving, it peaked, and then it declined again. We want to encourage that sustainability to be prolonged for future generations after us,
Well, we already have an Instagram and a Facebook account where we post about the different programs that we get involved in.
Right.
And so we try to use Facebook especially, which is really popular amongst these adults, to kind of bridge that gap between the club and the parents, to show them this is what the children are doing, this is how they're involved. And we also try to encourage them to get involved in the club as well, not just their children.
What is the library of the future for you? What does it look like?
All of these things, the Jetty program, the Pitch Lake documentary that we just did, all of these things are leading towards, what I think we all envision Lovely to be, a community that was once great. It may be declined now, but it can return to that greatness. We do have the potential to reach back to what we once were.
Think of this as like a precursor. God willing, we'll meet again in person sometime when we could
Yeah.
see the documentary. And because I would love to come down, like I said, library as a former point person, the first 20 years of my life. Libraries, I consider that home as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So I would
Yes.
love to see this come to fruition. Did I ask, or I have one question that just stuck with me for the whole time, and it's just a very short question. Kelsey, you said that you'll have two jetties. What about the second jetty? Out of interest.
Right. The second jetty is the Brighton Jetty, and that used to transport pitch.
Okay. And how's that
Yeah.
one doing? Is it still functioning?
I'm not too sure. I don't think it is. No.
No, it's
it
not. Oh,
No.
okay. So that maybe third or fourth project down the line, maybe.
isn't. Yeah, hopefully.
All right. Okay, well, guys, seriously, this is impressive. And it was a pleasure meeting each and every one of you. And I hope that we meet again sometime soon and, to see this project move forward with regard to the documentary and then get any funding that you'll need, etc. But thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. Thank you so much.